Hi, Jar Audio. This is Joshua Dudley. I'm 46 years old, and this is my introduction video where I tell you the story of how I stumbled into podcasting accidentally 6 years ago. I had just started freelance writing because I wanted to go to a Radiohead concert, and it sold out instantly. So eventually, I managed to write a story about it for the New York Observer, and it quickly went viral. And so I started pitching follow-up articles to my editor. I had no previous journalism experience, so some of my ideas were pretty bad. And eventually my editor said, maybe you should write about podcasting. So I said yes. And I already loved Slate's The Gist and Slate's daily podcast. Haven't been a listener since 2005. So November 2016, I interviewed Mac Rogers about his podcast Life After for GE. And I took it from there. I wrote for the Observer for about a year and a half. And then from there, I've been writing for Forbes, Backstage, Deadspin, the San Francisco Chronicle, Discover Pods, a number of places about podcasting. And then after a while, people said to me, because I was going to conferences and representing Forbes, where's your podcast? I didn't have one. So eventually I said, I need to make a podcast, you guys. So I was friends with a lot of people in the industry, continue to be for my writing. So I started making a movie review podcast called Josh and Cassie All About Movies. And eventually my co-host quit because she couldn't handle the weekly schedule I wanted to do, because I was trying to basically make a podcast for fun to entertain people and also to get noticed and work in the podcast industry. And eventually I got married last year in the middle of making this podcast. Got married to the girl of my dreams, and I'm the guy of her dreams. And we live together in Manhattan on West 73rd Street in the apartment she grew up in. It's kind of magical. And anyway, super long story. But getting back to that, we made the movie podcast together, and we still do that. And along the way, we also I've been working on a podcast called Making Marriage Work, a narrative podcast where we interview other couples about marriage. And I've also made some podcasts for other clients, and done hosting. So I host and edit the movie review podcast and produce it. Yeah, I'm would like very much to work full-time in podcasting from the client side. The only problem is I have not previously worked in an office before, so a lot of people look at my resume and they assume I'm too overqualified for an entry-level job, but maybe not qualified enough for a mid-level job. And so that's why I'm working on these podcasts as like a proof of concept to show that I'm capable of being in the industry. So that's it. That's my story. Other than what derailed me, I got Crohn's disease, and went to the hospital, and my life was saved 10 years ago, but it hasn't been the same ever since. And it's just made me more compassionate for other people, and that compassion is what makes me interested in podcasts. I listen to people's stories, and I find out about them, and I get interested, and I get to learn about other parts of the world and other people and personalities and cultures and races and diversity, and it's great, you guys, and that's why I love podcasting. And I've been friends with Roger for a while on Twitter, and I know he loves those same things about podcasting, and I would love to be part of the Jar Audio family, even if you are in Canada and I'm in the US, and we can figure out how to get me to work remotely. That's my whole story. Hi, I'm Joshua Dudley. Thanks for letting me talk to you today, and that's it. Goodbye.